how many buses are sitting idle now, and how much did one bus cost? Was it, can anybody answer that? Is it
Does anybody know?
close to $1 million for one bus?
About 350, wasn't it?
How much?
I
think
I don't remember.
$850,000 times 5.
Well,
how much is
Those
that?
were more expensive than the whatever the.
Eric, can we get an official response from somebody with factual information?
That is not me.
I was kind of here the day the Van Hools came, and they were like 8 something. But hey,
that'll be a follow-up. We'll have to find out because I don't know.
Well, if that's $850,000 a bus, and they're sitting idle up there.
How many we got?
5 that I know of. That's a lot of money, especially for somebody that closed Kuwait Travel. Now, who did that? Can somebody tell me that? Denny did it? No, I'm serious. I want to know who closed that.
I think it was presented last year during the budget, or the year before, that we were going to scale back on Kuwait Travel. So, and then
you didn't scale back, you closed it.
The authority then approved the budget.
And you bought another bus.
Then we bought a new bus.
And you bought another bus.
What are you guys thinking?
That was 2 years ago.
Now here you got 5 buses. I spoke with Denny the other day about the buses. He wants to keep 2 of the buses for the elders. You know what? It's election time. And speaking of election time, I saw some politicking earlier too, when I was sitting right out there. I don't like it. You better stop it. You know what? I saw that politicking. I know everybody else did. Election year, next year, right? So anyway.
So, you also had how much money?
I'm not finished here, Aaron.
No, I know, but I'm just trying to get you back to your, because you got 5 minutes. How much was saved? What is the profit since it was closed?
Yeah, so
how was the decision made?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much money has been made since Kuwait Travel has been closed? Does anybody know that? Okay, here's another one. So since I only got 5 minutes, must have used 2.5 on that already. The 2% money. Has that been out yet for 2015?
Yes.
Okay, compared to 2014, what is it?
It is down.
Big time down, huh? Is it? Are we blaming? Are we blaming the economy?
Down by $4,000.
4,000. That's it?
Each unit.
Yeah, for each unit.
Each unit?
$4,000.
Yeah. So
No, it's
Come on.
$15,900 last fall. It is $42,000 this fall. That's
so it's 16,000 per unit.
16,000.
Let's get some factual information. I thought it was 38,000.
It's absolutely.
So about $80,000 down.
That's a lot of money. Somebody's not working out for the tribe. I can see that right now. Wow. You guys better open your eyes.
$80,000.
You talk about fiduciary responsibility. It's your fiduciary responsibility to look out for us. And you're not doing that. I guess that's all I have to say, and I expect those questions answered in a reasonable amount of time. I definitely want to know about Kuwait Travel.
Okay.
And as far as 2 buses going to the elders, no, that's not going to happen. I'll contest that, and I'll tell you why. Because one of our tribal elders a few years back, who was blind and lost a leg, had to be out for surgery that morning in the hospital. The board of directors refused to plow his driveway. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. When he had to go to surgery to get his leg amputated. And I'll tell you what, I haven't forgotten that. So, no. If we can't do it for all tribal members, you're not going to do it for a few. That was a thing. If we can't do it for one, we're not going to do it for none. Can't do it for all of them. Okay, thank you.
All right. Next is Bill. Bill Perot.
Good morning. My name is William Peralt. I'm a member of the Sioux Tribe. I'm here to talk about enrollment. Actually, I was here to ask specific questions. Question number one, who is qualified to be a member of the Sioux Tribe?
Right now? So the rolls are closed, first of all.
Correct.
But otherwise, you have to descend from the 6 historical bands. You have to meet the criteria in the Constitution. 6 historical bands, field notes, census, and you have to be able to document it through legal documentation.
Okay, how does the board come to a consensus on disenrollment?
So disenrollment is forcible. It means that somebody doesn't have the documentation in place. It goes to the Special Needs and Enrollment Committee first. They review it. They give the person a chance to be able to pull their documentation together. Then they give them formal notice, and they have a right to an appeal to the committee. Then they have a right, then it comes to the board of directors for action, and they have a right to address the board as well.
So anybody who is enrolled into the tribe and is not part of the 6 historic bands to the Sioux Band and the Sioux Tribe are therefore allowed to be disenrolled.
So I missed, there's the 6 historical bands and there's the original bands and their descendants. So there's 2 sections in the Constitution. The original bands and their descendants are also eligible. So that's my argument for the inclusion of people who descend from the Mackinac Band if they're not a member of one of the 6 historical. So then if they don't meet those criteria, then it goes in front of the committee, and then like I said, the committee reviews it. They give every chance for the person, and they give them a chance to provide, usually it's missing documentation, and then if they're not able to provide it, then a recommendation is made by the committee to the board of directors, and the board of directors then, they still have a right to an appeal to the board of directors, and assuming all the steps are followed, then the board really has no choice but to disenroll. The policy requires us to disenroll at that point.
Tribal policy?
Yes.
Okay.
Our membership code, our tribal membership code.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Okay, Angie, you're last. Ooh, exactly. Wow. We're sticking to the 5 minutes, just so you know.
Aaron, is it Barb? Did you miss Barb?
I don't think so.
She's had a closed issue.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry. All right, Angie, then Barb.
I'm not going to take up my 5 anyway.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. It's right there. Sorry.
Okay. I wanted some questions on what's going on with. I guess it's a new thing that you guys are doing, posting this part-time jobs. 6 months, you got to reapply for a job.
That's not new. Part-time positions by their nature, and I'm looking for Christine because she's, or Brenda's here. By their nature, part-time positions are, no, not part-time, seasonal require. Part-time doesn't require unless it's going to a full-time position. If it's going from part-time to full-time and it's budgeted, then we can post that for the full-time position.
Okay. My understanding though is that these jobs now that you guys are posting for were full-time positions, but now you're posting all these jobs as part-time, and the way I'm understanding it now, they were full-time, you are now posting them all as part-time, 6-month positions, and this is the way I'm seeing it, okay? The way the reason that this is being done is so nobody can get the benefits now. You got to reapply after the 6 months for this same position if you want it. The person's got to reapply for it.
I mean, to me, you know, and
So I don't know that that's true. I don't know that that's
true. It is true because I went and applied for one. I went and applied for the job, and they told me, after 6 months, you have to reapply for this same job.
For temporary.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, for temporary, because all the jobs are temporary.
No.
No,
all right, so if you applied for a temporary position, that's correct, that it's a temporary position. I think it's 6 months. Is there some general blanket thing that we're doing where we're reposting full-time positions to part-time?
Have you looked on the website? That's all there is. I mean, there might be 2 or 3 full-time positions. Everything else is part-time temporary.
Okay, can you come to the microphone?
Okay. We are not
We're
not necessarily posting positions.
You gotta turn the microphone on.
We're not necessarily posting full-time positions part-time. We are posting part-time positions, but they're not necessarily were initially full-time positions.
Okay. So what I think, and I haven't looked at this at all, but what I think is we normally, if it's budgeted full-time, we post full-time. If it's budgeted part-time, we post part-time. But one of the things that we were told when we hired our casino executive, I'm talking about the casino side, we don't do this on the governmental side at all. We post it as it's budgeted. But on the casino side, the casino executive did alert the gaming authority that for those positions that aren't warranted to be full-time, that at some point we would be scaling back and we would be reducing to fit the actual workload. So we don't have people scheduled to work or employed to work when we don't have work for them. So he did make that clear, but I missed one gaming authority meeting in the last couple of months. I don't know if that was presented then, but I think that unless somebody wants to correct this, I think that is what we authorized him to be able to post. If it is not needed to be a full-time position, we're not posting it for full-time.
Okay.
But I don't know that that's happening.
Okay, I'm just going to say this for you. This is, okay, from me talking to people that work in the casino, they're swamped, they can't handle what's given to them, the workload. They're telling me that it's too much, that people are going into these positions, these part-time that's being offered, they won't work it. So the ones that are there now, you know, they're saying nobody will come in and work these jobs that are being offered, you know, the part-time positions that is being offered, nobody's applying for them. So the people that are there now, their workload is doubling. You understand what I'm saying? Because nobody is applying for these 6-month positions. So you guys need to look into it.
Okay.
My other comment is that there's people on the board, and I'm not using no names right now, that are micromanaging these other people. You guys know who you are. Stop it.
Okay. All right, good. That's all the member issues. Joanne will provide me a copy to follow up. Oh, Barb.
You're on the list, DJ.
I'm on the list, I can't ask a question.
DJ.
You had a question.
My question was, just to clarify to make sure that those temporary positions, those are 6 months or less, right?
Yes. Temporary is 6 months or less.
Just want to make sure. Temporary is 6 months or less. Not that clear, right?
Unless the board of directors directs to hire people, then it's up to the board. I know what you're getting at.
No, I'm just pointing out that the temporary CEO is making temporary positions.
So that's up to the board.
No,
The board has the prerogative to follow policy.
No, they don't. They have to follow policy because any violation of tribal resolution is a removable offense. It says in the Constitution.
Barb.
Okay. All I want to talk about is recycling. I live on the rest, and we recycle, and we have to take our recycling elsewhere. We do have Naganagijic, and there's a dumpster there. Why can't we put recycle bins there? Is there a reason for that? Actually on all tribal land?
Catherine?
Sounds like a good idea to me, and as you can see from some of this chatter, we can do anything if the board decides to do it. But I just thought it was fair to let you know that we do have a comprehensive solid waste program for the 7-county service area that has a big component of recycling as part of it. And it's actually part of
sustainability
climate change award that we were recognized for. But that plan was put together on capacity building grant money, and I'll tell you, it's all over Indian country right now. We'll give you money to develop the plan, but we're not giving you one penny to implement it. So we have a pretty comprehensive solid waste program already written, sitting on a shelf. We don't have the implementation, the operational maintenance and implementation money in the budget to implement.
That's it.
Well, we were, what about waste management? Why can't they give us recycle bins?
I think you would
have to call them.
Yeah, well, I think you'd have to pay for the service, but I think the service is probably nominal, and it would reduce the costs for the trash removal for the tribal members that live on the res. But maybe we could do I like the idea. So maybe we could, and it is in our plan. This is why we were Climate Action Champion, is a combination of the receptacles at the site plus a place where members that don't want to travel up to
or that can't,
that could just go to the res instead.
Right.
So when I worked at another tribe, I created the recycling program, and we had receptacles right there where people could bring them, and the council at the time didn't think that people were going to do it, but people love doing it.
They love doing it, and also the kids. I mean, I'm teaching my granddaughter recycling and turning off the water, but I think that all the kids on the res, all these little kids that are on the res, when we need to teach them that we need to take care of Mother Earth. We have to have a solid plan, and for us to be able to have a place that we are doing it as a membership on the res, I think would be in our best interest.
Keith has a comment then.
I was about to say that in St. Ignace they have the recycling bins. Outside St. Ignace they do not. And Waste Management has a transfer station in St. Ignace on Cheeseman Road, and they just closed down the recycling, and they said we will not take any recycling from anybody again. So it's going the other way in a lot of things. Waste Management doesn't want to deal. So the city is up in negotiations next year, and they want to keep the recycling, but it's going to be a hot topic on how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, they're going to have to do it.
So I'm just giving you information on that.
Catherine.
And so we had the same thing happen in Clark Township, and I know personally that we used Waste Management at our house, but we like to recycle as well. And so Clark Township finally put it on the millage for property owners, a very small nominal price. They switched to Smith's trash in this area. They're locally, regionally. They have set up a recycling station in Clark Township, and it's a ritual every Sunday night. Or Monday, we head over there and we dropped our waste management because we can do the whole thing there for free. So we're saving money. I am kind of wondering, we pay for it as a millage property owner, but I'm wondering, we probably need to make some steps for Hessel Tribal Housing to see if they can participate, even though we're not property
in
tax.
That's what I'm thinking for all tribal housing.
Clark Township, because we're currently paying for waste management on the res when everybody else in the township can do it for free. So then we could save some money and maybe apply it up here.
Exactly.
So here's what we'll do. We will convene a meeting of housing staff and our environmental department to look at what's already being done that we could participate in, and what the cost would be to do either curbside receptacles or a transfer station.
And could we just put the information in the paper. I don't necessarily need the information back to me personally. If we could just put the information in the paper so that it's in there, or some blurbs about recycling in the paper.
Okay.
Just an idea.
Good idea.
Thanks.
Okay, we are back in our meeting. Bill.
Just wanted to say something on that road recycling. I've been doing a lot of research because Magna County shut down the recycling services through waste management. What I found out in my research is that every county and Sheboygan counties have their own programs. They take bids from waste management systems or people to take the recyclables, and they make money off it. In 2007, every county made over $500,000 off of 6 tons of some of the services. Just for the tribe to think about, that would be something that they could probably do and make money off of. Chippewa County and Akron County, any of the other counties that doesn't have waste management pick up recyclables anymore. So look into. Thank you.
Okay. So we will now go to the back to the agenda. We're back in session. And on the agenda we have minutes for several sets of minutes. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve all sets of minutes.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor signify by saying aye.
I have a comment.
Oh, comment.
I just happen to be trying to look at our board minutes on the website, and they're quite outdated. So maybe we can just send a message over to communications to see if they can get updated. They're almost a year out of.
Okay. So you're just putting the minutes on the webpage?
I will contact Janice.
Okay. Okay, any other questions on the minutes? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. Are we missing people?
No, it just looks that way.
We're just spread out?
Darcy just covered.
Oh.
She's on her temporary break.
Okay.
So we won't fire each other.
Part-time.
Yeah, part-time.
Okay, next up is partial waiver for Burlew.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors pursuant to Tribal Code Chapter 76 grants a partial waiver to Miss Catherine C. Burlew for the convictions of distribution of morphine June of 2013.
Second.
Motion and support, and we have Courtney pinch hitting.
Yes, Courtney Kacher on behalf of the legal department. Ms. Burlew had her hearing in front of the committee, in front of the board. During that time, it was agreed. There was no objection. We brought it tonight for approval. We've reviewed it. There's no indication for a reason to not grant partial waiver on this one, and the judge has not objected, and the legal department has not objected.
So, did anybody have any questions? So, just for the benefit of the audience, limited waivers are people who have certain convictions that require us to grant them a limited waiver, which we used to call forgiveness, for the purpose of allowing them to qualify for a gaming license position. It doesn't affect them outside of the tribe at all. All it does is it grants them a limited waiver so they can work in gaming. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? 1, 2, 3. Yep. Motion carries. And the number?
228. 2015, 228.
Yep. Next is, you can skip the ACFS one. Next is GLRI. American Martin request to establish FY 2015 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the request to establish a FY 2015 budget for GLRI American Martin with federal BIA monies of $62,136.97. No effect in travel support. Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and support. Then we have Eric Clark.
Hello, Eric Clark, the Inland Fish and Wildlife Department. This budget is for a competitive grant that we were awarded for 2015. It will work with, we're A bulk of the money is to work with a tribal graduate student down at Michigan State University to do some American Martin work looking at fine scale habitat assessment.
All right, questions, Lana?
And you workshop this and we discussed a little bit, but I got to thinking after was there a certain way that you come to this decision on what you do with the money, or is it written in stone what you have to do?
Yes, so we when we applied, the grant is very specific in terms of what we were awarded. So you'll see a bulk of the money. I think $26,000 is directly for equipment. So that will buy GPS collars to put on the Martin, and the rest of the money is to pay for essentially the decision to use a graduate student. It's actually a really good deal for us. I mean,
I'm not
I guess
I'm just asking.
right. Yeah, so I mean, all of that. So Michigan State University was a partner on the grant application. So I mean, they're directly involved in getting the money. So
can we get more?
I think
for more students.
Potentially in the future. I mean, so one of the
project specific.
Yeah, and I guess one of the things that I certainly we're working really hard to try to build positions within our program to try to get young tribal members engaged in the program and working from the time that they're in school, because an undergraduate student in 4 years is the next person we're going to want to hire for a field tech. So that's a big, and we've really struggled to get qualified tribal members applying for these positions that require bachelor's degrees in natural resources. So that's one of my, our department's goals is to try to build this when we can into these projects, so that we're getting tribal members that are coming to us in the job market that are already engaged in the work that we're doing. So.
And I do support it, and I think it's great. I just thought of that afterwards and was thinking, if we could get some more, we could solicit.
Yeah. So the long story short, it's cost effective for us to work with graduate students, and especially where we can identify one who's engaged with us already. That's a very advantageous avenue for us to take. So.
Okay. Any other questions? This one requires a roll call.
Darcy?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
Rita? Kim?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Next is amending Horn Grid Health Center employee policies.
Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Directors hereby amends the compensation and administrative guidelines for the Health Division adopted by Resolution 2010-33 and amended from time to time since then to adopt the pay grid in the form attached, which will also add pharmacists to the group of professional employees covered, and be it further resolved that this amendment will be in effect for the 2016 fiscal year and forward.
Second.
Motion and support. Tony.
Thank you. Bonnie Kalfa is attending our ITU meeting today, and that deals with our federal funding. So I just wanted you to know that normally she would be here presenting this. You heard the resolution, but basically we are updating the compensation schedule that was done about 5 years ago now. And every so often in the original compensation plan, it was recommended that a market study be done every three or so years to update the salaries. By doing that, then you're protecting the tribe from overpaying for a position that may not move with the market, and you're adjusting that periodically. So it was in the original plan that periodically we would update the compensation plan. Due to difficulty in recruiting and retaining pharmacists, we felt it would be indicated to add them, and the new market study does include the wage scales for pharmacy. As you are aware, the health program has been attempting to hire lots of professionals across the area. Currently, we use this compensation system to retain employees and professional staff. Currently, we just received notice Friday that we lost another pharmacist in the Sioux. And passing this and including pharmacists would be very beneficial for us, not only to retain pharmacists that we have on staff, but also allow us to recruit. Also, we have vacant positions in Manistee, a physician position there we're trying to recruit for. So it's essential that we really get the compensation system back up to where it needs to be. This has been, I think, talked about at a previous workshop. I don't think there was a lot of questions at the last meeting, but we bring this forth basically to update the market grid and to add pharmacists on that grid.
Also, just in terms of the wording on the resolution, Joanne pointed something out, and in terms of the wording, I would like a change. Starting with the fourth line, instead of adopt the pay grid in the form attached, to instead state adopt an amended pay grid, and end that therefore at that point, an amended pay grid semicolon and.
Motion to amend pay grid.
Without objection.
Without objection.
Without objection, we will add that language. I think Joanne's got it.
There was some concern about what was going to be attached, having names.
No, I don't think so. Okay, any other questions or comments? I will just say the proof's in the pudding. I just got the note that we lost another pharmacist for better pay and better benefits.
Where was that?
No, I know, but I got a
Sault Ste.
note.
Marie Pharmacy, one of the pharmacists, the half-time pharmacist, took a position
Sorry, I can't hear him.
One of the pharmacists took a position at another tribe in the area for $5 an hour increase and 401k contribution.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, without objection, we'll have a roll call vote.
Bridget.
Yes.
Lana.
Yes.
DJ.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Rita.
Yes.
Kim.
Yes.
Catherine.
Yep.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Denise.
Yes.
Keith.
Yes.
Denny.
Yep.
Darcy.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Head Start. No, wait. Performance audit of human resources employee morale.
I'm reading the amended one, right?
Yeah, without objection, we'll just read the resolve.
Now therefore be it resolved that an audit shall be conducted to determine the performance of the Human Resource Department, and be it further resolved that the audit shall also be conducted to determine the morale of team members, including those specific issues that are notably suppressing morale or conversely increasing morale. Be it further resolved that the audit shall also include conducting interviews with current and former HR team members that have served in such capacity within the past 7 years. And be it further resolved that a work group comprised of all boards seeking to participate shall be tasked with establishing the specific parameters and goals of the audit. And be it further resolved that the Board of Directors authorizes $10,000 from tribal support to facilitate this audit. And be it finally resolved that the chairman, upon collaboration with the work group, shall be authorized to contract with an independent third party to facilitate this performance audit. Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and support. Discussion.
I just have a question. So the one that we were noticed 5 days in advance is off, and we're just replacing that new one from this afternoon.
Just a point of information.
You said you did.
I didn't actually, but
You did.
it is on the agenda, and I didn't do it on purpose, but we read the motion with the one that's in front of us.
Right.
And the motion in support was on that. So.
The motion and support, and I don't care which one it is, I'm not fighting that. But we were noticed this one 5 days in advance. So we're replacing it with this.
We do that without objection.
We don't have to do it without objection because this was read,
Again,
and the
you
motion in
guys.
support was on this one. So I don't think we have to because that was the motion in support as it was read.
My point is, note that we were noticed this one.
That's correct.
Good enough. I remember, yeah, it changes per meeting. It changes how we do things. And I'm not fighting putting it on. I was just put that in the record that
So
we were noticed.
for the benefit of the
in our
audience,
packet.
so we had discussed this during the workshop, and there was substitute language that was discussed. And so what I should have done is we should have read the one that was noticed, but it's under the same item. The title is the same. And so when I entertained the motion, when the resolution was read, it was the replacement language. So, and then there was a motion second on that language, so I think we're okay.
We are.
Yeah.
We weren't noticed this one. That's all. My point was.
Okay. Questions or comments from the board? Kathy?
Well, we discussed this earlier. We had discussed this earlier, and it's not on? I did. Can you hear me?
She does that to his aunt all the time.
Anyway, we discussed this earlier, and I thought we were going to, the meat of it was to be talking about performance audit, and not just specifically on employees in the HR department. And this sounds to me like that's what we're doing. So, I don't know. I don't know about that.
You're right. DJ?
I'm going to read from a certain line that says, audit shall be conducted to determine the performance of the Human Resource Department. Whereas, to gauge the performance of the Human Resource Department. So that's what it is. It just actually clearly delineates the three separate areas of performance. Whether it be the overall, including policies, or the staffing, or the morale, the overall performance. That's each one of those areas was cited.
Well, because it also says, be it further resolved, the audit shall also include conducting interviews with current and former HR team members that have served in such capacity within the past 7 years. So that's just HR employees. Why not talk about how, we want to get input from governmental and casino in regards to what policies or procedures that are working or are not working, how we can make them more efficient. So that's my concern.
Okay. Other board members? Without objection, is a comment from the audience? Oh, hold on, Lana.
See, whereases don't matter, but they always really matter to the history of when one's reading a resolution. And I know that we discussed this just a little bit this afternoon, but in the whereas, the board of directors desires to ascertain with some degree of certainty the reason behind the resignations of Human Resource Department employees and I left the room when you guys were discussing this afternoon because I couldn't hear people talking, nobody cared about that, so I'm whining here just a little bit, but we have resignations in a lot of departments. And I guess, was there any further discussion on that? And a yes or no would be, anybody? Yes. No? Okay, good enough for me. I just had to ask that.
Any other questions from the board? Denise?
When we had that discussion earlier today, some board members also spoke up about if they're looking to do this, why wouldn't you look at the casino and governmental? You know, do 3 areas instead of just 1 area. And I know you guys went and worked on this resolution, and we're just getting it, you know. So, would you have any consideration to that then?
Every employee goes through HR. Every employee starts at HR. They all go through and pass through HR. So their experience starts where? At HR. Their exit is at HR, whether a good one or a bad one. Their entrance starts there. So I mean, that's where it starts. So, you know, we have, you know, I don't know how many enterprises we do. I do know we have one less because we don't have AAA service and supplies in enterprise. But we have multiple businesses in multiple areas that we could review, sure. But this is a start where every employee goes through. And that's the point. You start at the heart, where all the employees go through.
Okay, and I'm not opposed to looking at it, but I said talking about doing those other areas or maybe coming up with it where it's all together. And with that, I mean, I'd motion to table it just for tonight and put it till next week's meeting, and we can have more discussion on it, because I don't think we really did.
Is there
we
a
didn't
second?
really discuss this whole thing.
Is there a second on the motion to table?
I didn't hear motion to table.
Yeah, there's a motion to table.
Till next week.
Second, motion and support. So we have to go for the vote on the motion to table. We'll have a vote.
Lana?
Table?
Yes.
No.
Kathy?
Yeah.
TJ?
No.
Keith? Kim?
No.
Catherine?
Yes.
Denny? Denise?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes.
Bridget?
No.
Darcy?
No.
Rita?
Yes.
Jennifer?
No.
Motion denied.
Any other conversation at the board level?
Yeah.
I know I have to go to the board first, though. Kathy?
Okay.
I got you.
I'm not feeling comfortable with some of the language in here when there seems to be some intention here that just in the words used that has a little bit more to do than just performance. I mean, I would expect that morale would be a portion of a performance audit, but that focus on there, in addition to going back 7 years, is making me very uncomfortable as a resolution be written. So I would just rather see, we have a baseline that was done about 1.5 years ago prior to our current employees in place that I think everybody was quite satisfied with. It was an outside, external, you can call it an audit or otherwise. And I would feel a lot more comfortable if we brought that same team in and conducted it within the same parameters, because then you're measuring apples to apples. And we can see if we have performed better since then or worse. But this is like a whole new mix, and I don't even know that professionally it meets a standard that you would expect for an audit from a professional HR position. I mean, we haven't had any direction on that other than just us and board members coming up with it ourselves. So that's my 2 cents.
DJ.
I can't hear him.
I said, how dare the one board member with an HR degree write it? That would make no sense. Raised by a mother who's got 40 years of HR experience, I wouldn't know anything about it. So yeah, I know a little bit about it.
You got an undergraduate degree.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So there's that.
I had a graduate class in personnel management. I got
I spent 30 years.
I got all A's actually.
What's that called?
I got a couple other initials too, but the main ones are D and J. Okay. But as far as the 7 years, that was a discussion that actually happened in there, and it says within the past 7 years. It doesn't say everybody. It was to give a time frame so that it wasn't to infinity and beyond. Okay. You know, it was to give it a deadline. Yeah, I know it was Buzz Lightyear joke. And that was to minimize it, so that it wasn't back to 1980 or 1920, which we want to hear anyway. So.
Okay, we have comments from the audience. Betty, and then hold on, Jennifer.
Sorry, I was slow in coming in, but I'm trying to form some thoughts. Since I've been sitting at this table, we've heard that we have problems. We have morale problems. We have lots of different kinds of problems. And I'm not normally one who fears an audit or an evaluation, because I think if we find things, and whether it's your job evaluation or anything throughout my whole work history, when there's been an evaluation, you find things that are wrong, that's the opportunity to correct those things. Where I would be concerned with this would be if we only do it one time for one department and never do it again. I think that if this is the tool that this board chooses to use to start addressing some of the problems that we know exist, we do this one, and then we move on and we do another one, and then we move on and we do another one. Because we have done a comprehensive one. You're right, we're overviewing. But if we're going to start looking at specifics and looking for what can we change to make things better, then I see it as a good thing. If the plan is to continue to move on and on, because what other tool does this board have other than to hire somebody external to come in and do this kind of an evaluative report? I mean, we get reports that's self-reporting, but to have something outside of it, I don't, unless we're only going to do HR and never do another one, I would see it as a good thing to do evaluations.
I'm going to talk now.
Keep it going, keep it going. Lana and then
What?
Bridget.
Where is the $10,000 coming from?
Travel support. It'd have to be travel support. We have it in travel support.
We have that.
Credit available. Unexpended travel support.
I'm going to make Bill cry. I'm going to make Bill cry.
I like the fact that he's a miser.
Well, I
appreciate that.
I was here when we did the last audit on HR, and then we had the recommendations come back. I don't think, I know we didn't act on it, but I don't think DJ was here then, or Kim. When we did the last audit, though, were you here?
2007.
Yeah. So we do have someone sitting on the shelf somewhere. And have you seen that, Brenda? Okay. All right. That's what I needed to know. Okay. I'm good with it.
Bridget.
Okay, I agree with Jen, and that was part of the discussion earlier, that there's a lot of areas in the tribe that need to be looked at, and we should be auditing. Maybe it's, a quarter, a couple a year, whatever. We need to be going in to departments and auditing them. We get complaints and issues that get brought up all the time, and it would be good to bring in outside people in a lot of different areas. As far as what DJ said, he's absolutely correct. HR is the hub of the workforce, and for people applying for jobs, if there's issues with that can bring the whole business down. And I know that there's issues going on. I hear about it all the time. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm ready to take action. I don't know what, I'll take action on any department if there's issues going on, because what is the worst thing that's going to happen with this audit? That we find out nothing's happening? I mean, that would be great. So I would just rather put everything to rest and move on and make things better. We can't keep going forward. We know morale's at an all-time low no matter where it is. But if our employees can't go to HR with issues because of different things that have changed over the years, and people in HR aren't happy, then how do they take care of our other employees? So this is a real mess, and this is the place to start, and then from here we go to other departments, and hopefully we get all positive results. If not, we use it as a learning tool. We're only making this tribe better for our members, for our employees. There's nothing but good things that can come out of this. It's time to be proactive.
Catherine?
Well, if we could also be proactive by pulling out the last one that we had done that came with specific recommendations and act on them, because we paid quite a bit of money for that one and we didn't do anything. So I think, and we'd save some money, because we already know we've gone through this cycle once and we failed to take any action based on professional outside recommendations. So I would make a motion here that we bring forward that and look at it and advise if we wanted to, we're now ready to take some actions prior to starting another cycle and not doing anything.
So the motion is to bring back the previous audit. It's appropriate. There's a motion to bring back the previous audit.
Amending to replace this.
Yes, that's appropriate.
Request.
It absolutely
Will you just replace
is.
your
Is there
whole
a second?
thing? Which one?
No, it is. It is absolutely. It's a motion. Is there a second? There's a second.
That is not.
So I believe it. I believe it's related. So I'm gonna rule that it's related. It's germane.
Who seconded?
Denise. So my ruling is that it is germane to the motion, because it's basically saying before we go off half-cocked and do another $10,000 expense, let's take the one that we have in front of us and review it to see whether or not.
We had a discussion earlier. You said it didn't cost us anything. So
this resolution is 10,000.
This is, so it's not another point of information.
Oh, okay.
The earlier one you said didn't cost us
stand corrected.
anything. So to be clear, it cost us nothing, right?
Okay, so the motion to amend is
But to be clear, it cost us nothing.
The previous one?
Yes.
I don't know if it cost. Was I here?
It cost us nothing.
I don't think we're talking the same audit. I think the one Kat was talking about is that, what is it?
Dr.
Saluja.
I wasn't here, so I don't know if it cost us or not.
No, that has nothing to do with this. No, this has nothing to do with that.
Dr.
The one that cost us.
Dr. Solution, it cost us ridiculous.
Okay. Well, you're trying to get me to state something that I don't know is fact. No, but I don't know. I wasn't here.
Don't say it in there.
So I don't know. If anybody wants to offer up the information about it, I don't know. I don't think it cost us anything if you're talking about the one Dr. Saluja did.
Oh, wait. Now it was minimal, but a minute ago it was lots.
I didn't put any subjective. I said it cost us money. Whatever Dr.
The good part is it's on tape, so we can just roll back.
I did not say it didn't cost us anything. I didn't put a dollar value on it.
I'll watch it.
I said it cost us money.
Okay, so what's on the floor right now, and it's a fair motion, is to implement the recommendations first, and it replaces this one. So we have to vote on that amendment first.
Isn't there discussion?
Yes, there's discussion on it. Bridget and then Rita.
Point of information, Mr. Chair.
Wait, there was a list.
There was.
Catherine, Lana, Rita, Bridget.
Wait, I guess I'm confused. Did the motion pass to bring back the past audit?
It's just a second.
No.
We're discussing it now.
I'm DJ, I just didn't know.
We're discussing it now.
I didn't hear.
Don't look over there. We're discussing it now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Keep me focused.
Yeah, so what we're discussing right now is the motion to go to the original audit
Okay, can I just
for implementation. Rita, and then Bridget. Because it had to be about 4 years, 3 or 4 years ago, because it was just before I came back to office. I wasn't here when they did it.
Rich Rand was the HR director.
He
then.
did it, or he was in there then.
Yes.
So it's up to 4 years old.
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been dead a few years.
So now,
We're having a discussion, and is there a motion, a second on that amendment?
Yes.
Yes, there's a motion.
And that's what they're having a
Does
discussion.
Rita not have the floor?
Yes, Rita has the floor.
Sorry, I was just point of information. Sorry.
So it's about it has to be about 3 years old.
so I've never
What's
seen
older
it.
than Brenda when we were without HR?
So I'm gonna vote again on something I've never seen.
There was nothing to see.
Yeah, that's true.
We didn't have
Is there a
nothing.
report? Is there a
No,
report?
not a written one. There was a verbal presentation. We asked for a written copy of it, and the person who did the audit, quote unquote audit, was not comfortable put it in writing, and we've asked him several times. Christina and I asked him several times. We're hearing now that he said that he is willing to do it at this point, but
So,
I don't know how she saw a written report.
He had stuff on his tablet.
She's talking about the IG.
Oh, and hand.
Robert Brown did do one, and I
It says Brown. It says Brown.
2-3 years. But the one you're talking about was before that.
Okay.
They did not. He did not.
Okay. So we have a couple of audits that were done. The question is whether or not we've done anything with them.
well,
Now we're going to do another one.
suggested we pull it back out, and then you're saying there isn't a report, so I was wondering what we would pull back out to even look at, so.
So I stand corrected because there apparently is one that Robert Brown.
It was one that wasn't.
I don't know. Oh,
Get a copy of it?
Yeah,
okay,
we
there's
got
two.
that up.
So I don't know that we've gone through that.
No.
No.
Okay.
Just get a copy.
Never seen it.
Okay, Bridget.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I've been here 3.5 years. We've talked about it. Nothing's been handed to us. We've always been told it was verbal. And we know that the prior board never took action. Now there's a new board. There's been 2 new boards since at least that has been, it must have been 2010 or so that was done. So I didn't get on the board till 2012. So I know it was prior to that. So there could be many issues in 5 years that has changed again. So I'm just throwing that out there. Why haven't we seen it then if it exists when we've talked about it?
Okay, next is
Yeah, why don't you guys do anything?
DJ.
$300 grand on the IGS audit. You're going to use that. You know, this is. I don't understand. You don't want to do anything in this case. You want to just look at something that's 4 years old and try to what? Try to think it still applies. I can pull up the audits, or I can pull up the evaluations from 20 years ago too. They probably don't apply either. Everything's changes. We're looking at current department. Wow, that's nice.
It's so comical.
I don't know why they can't wear that thing off in the meeting.
Spirits.
Yeah, vote how you're going to do. I don't know. You don't have to take an action to get a report that they supposedly have in writing. They're going to just hand it to you.
Okay, Catherine.
Well, I was getting kind of encouraged there because when we did do that audit, if you want to call it that, and the recommendations were brought forward, I was in support then, and I'm in support now. And I'd like to see us be able to finally implement those. So just so we're real clear about who wants to do something and who doesn't. And I think it's as simple as picking up the telephone and having that person come forward and re-suggesting those recommendations. I don't know why we wouldn't at least try to do that first, next Tuesday if you'd like, because I'm ready. I think I told you that, DJ, to take it, to finally take some, we get professional recommendations and then we don't do anything. I am ready to do something. Or we can start all over again. We'll vote here soon and we'll know.
All right, any other board members?
Yes, I'm on the list.
Lana.
I kind of feel like I'm in the twilight zone here because, so instead of we guess, Brenda, do you have a date on that audit that we got from Dr. Saluja? Can you pull it up? Do you remember a date? And what? It's 2013. Is it 2013? Okay. Was there any minutes attached? Nothing like that? What's that date? 2014. Okay. In that report, and I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail, but I was here for that. When we first did that, I was a little bit uncomfortable with some of the circumstances behind it. If you guys want to get rid of some people, just get rid of them, or fill out some documentation to the people that are in place right now. Christine, we didn't act on any of those things because I think it was a whole get rid of the whole HR department and start fresh. I think that was some of the determination. The board didn't act on it, and we hired an HR director. So now we're turning around and saying that we're gonna, I don't think you were here for any of that, but so let's just call a spade here. If we got something we want to get rid of the person, get rid of the whole damn department. I mean, this language in here, I've just held my tongue all night because I just got bitched at here from a tribal member saying you guys are micromanaging, and if this isn't micromanaging, I don't know what is. Be it further resolved that the audit shall also include conducting interviews with current and former HR team members that have served in such capacity within the past 7 years. You know, I don't know anybody that's going to get into that for $10,000 for one thing.
I'll tell you what, I have some people that may do that, so if you let me read.
Go ahead, Betty. I think
Any other board issues?
I think I'm pretty well set. I think I made my point.
All right. So just as a reminder, everybody's talked more than twice, and that's kind of the limit. But everybody has. So
Everybody has. And honestly, we shouldn't, but we always do.
Jeremy has it.
Like, it's not about cutting somebody.
I still have the floor.
Oh,
you do.
Go ahead.
But I'm done. I think
Okay. EJ.
Let's micromanage some more.
Actually, I think people that don't want to look into issues usually are the ones that are protecting people.
Oh.
I think that's half the problem.
I'm not supposed to impugn the integrity.
No, but I'll just
Okay.
so.
All right.
I don't have no one to protect.
I don't know.
They're all
I don't know.
gone.
I'm going to ask any other
They're
board.
all gone.
Okay, Betty, and then Nick.
For one thing, I'd like to know who's requesting this audit. Another thing is I can remember when that audit was done last time, when Richard Graham was here. You got the same people today working in HR as you did back then. And I can remember there was a coup to get rid of Richard Graham. And don't think I don't remember that. And you guys know it too. There was a coup in the HR department. I can remember just a couple years ago, and this is before Brenda was here, and I brought this up to the board of directors. There was an individual that got a raise. Her supervisor didn't approve it. It was a huge raise. I asked for you guys to check into it. I never got back no information on that. So, you guys need to take a look at the HR department. I don't believe that it's HR director. I believe you better take
Don't look at it. Don't point the finger at anybody.
I'm not. I'm
Okay.
just saying you're right. I said,
Don't look anybody in the eye either.
I said, you better take a look at that department, okay? And you guys know that I won't come here with no chocolate-covered bullshit. What I say, when I say it, it's a fact. Doc, can you tell me about that?
What?
That resolution, this resolution. God, good God in heaven, and that just puts a lot of stress into him. Bless old Rich Grant's soul, he's dead now. Yeah, you need to be thinking about that before you go doing a witch hunt or another coup here.
Okay, Dick.
So as self-serving as this is going to sound, I work in the HR department. There was a survey audit of IGS included the HR department for a good 10 to 15 pages last night of the 40, 50, 60 pages. So that was a rather substantial portion of the time. There was an audit, whatever you want to call it, between Dr. Nelson and Dr. Silver. Not opposed to an audit. Give a good lesson if you want to be an audit. My point being, you spent some money, so please make sure that what you spend further doing another audit has some sort of fruition to it, and there's some outcomes that you're looking for. My other comment would be that going all the way back to 7 years, we need to remember a very traumatic thing happened in the tribe. We had tons of layoffs. So if you're going to start to do surveys about team members' morale and what happened to them, with many people that lost their job, no way, shape, or form, any of their supervisors' faults, it was due to budget constraints. We didn't have the money, and so when you start going further and further back, you need to take caution with remembering what happened to a large majority of people. Several hundred lost their jobs when you go to do those interviews or surveys to see morale. That people may be looking to point the finger at somebody, and the finger really was they didn't have the money, so that was the reason. Just those kind of things, do the audit, help do that, that's going to be your guys' call. But those are just some of my points that it has been done a few times, if you're going to do it again, have some outcomes you'd like to see from it, because I don't think anybody wants to hide from those outcomes.
Okay. Darcy.
I only just want to reiterate, because everybody keeps saying that the HR audit was done through IGS. IGS was brought in to do a overall of the casinos, and they were supposed to start at top management. Instead, this board pushed it to the audit committee, and they decided to go through the restaurants, which entailed caught a little bit of the HR, nothing to the extent that they should have. It wasn't even on the radar, really. I think you just guys got a little bit encompassed, and it was nothing to the extent I think that they're looking at doing. But HR was never supposed to be into that audit because it was supposed to be the functions of the facility itself as far as management. Morale was low, blah, blah, blah. We knew that at the time. So I just wanted to reiterate that because everybody keeps saying that, and that was not the way it was meant to be. And it was not a thorough job because it was only so many pages. I have read through it several times.
Okay, Kat.
That's all.
I just want to remind everybody, can you hear me? That the whole HR thing, as far as I'm concerned, started when we had that mass exodus of all the top administrators that left here with a lot of money. And HR still has not recovered. So it just hasn't recovered. And that's when it all started.
Denny.
Only thing I tell you, IGS was not hired, not in no other departments other than marketing and the restaurant. They threw a couple of tidbits in, touching HR, touching Northern Rewards, and a few other areas to try to get more business from us later on down the road. They showed us some areas that could be corrected. But they were hired for the restaurant and and marketing. That's all I can say.
Okay, so I think we need to wrap up, Betty.
So I used to have one question. Betty was there. Remember who, Betty?
I wasn't on the board.
No, he wasn't on the board. No, but do you remember?
Yep.
So here's what I think, okay? Whatever the intent, it doesn't feel right to me the way we're doing this. And the reason why is because we went through this whole litany and characterized that this area has been left completely ignored, neglected, and I think that's disrespectful to people that are in the room. Because aside from if we're talking about individual performance within the department, then the conversation we had just now was inappropriate, because the disciplinary issues are closed session items, and bringing it up at a board meeting in a resolution doesn't make it any less inappropriate. It's inappropriate. And if we're talking about systemically making improvements in the process, we have a policy group that's set up that we neglect because we're not committed to that. There's a group of people that are working on it. There's some people that are committed to it. They work through the policies and bring them back. They keep getting shifted off the agenda. We've addressed only 1 or 2 items of great importance that affect team members because we have not committed to that process. The other thing is that we have streamlined the hiring process. That was the biggest complaint, and we have improved that. And we've got team members that have reported that back to the board. You're all sitting here listening to this, and if you didn't know that I just told you that we have streamlined the process, you would think that this is completely neglected. We're not doing anything. We're not doing any improvements, and that's not fair. It's not correct. So that doesn't.
We got management jobs to post for 5 days. We streamlined it.
So on the issue of the posting for the positions, that's per your policies allows for management to make the determination. You may not like it, but the other thing is then you got to change policy. If you don't like it, then commit to the policy review process and change policy. The procedure right now allows for management to determine whether or not you do a 3-day in-house posting or a 5-day in-house posting or an external posting. The policy allows management to do that now. You don't have to like it, so then you can change the policy.
What does this policy say about
So anyway, so I just think the way we're going about this, it doesn't feel right. It feels like we're looking for a way to terminate people. That's exactly what I think it feels like. And I don't think the way we're doing it is appropriate. I think instead we should ask the person who's over HR, oversight over the whole HR department, and I'll tell you, for the last 6 months, these concerns have not been shared with that person in order to be able to remedy them and bring them back. That part's not fair either. So now we're jumping right to a $10,000 expense without giving Christina, as our executive director, the opportunity to specifically address your issues and report back. Christine is phenomenal in her accounting back to the board of directors. So you skip that process and you're going right to a $10,000 expense. And Lana said it right. We don't often agree. But if you want to fire somebody, you don't even need a reason to fire somebody. Just gut the department, fire the people you don't want working there, and hire who you want. I mean, you don't need a facade to do that. So, all right. So we have a resolution in place. It's been read. It's been discussed. We went through the process. Without objection, we'll have a roll call vote.
What happened to Catherine's motion?
Oh yeah, we have to vote on Catherine's amendment. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
What are we on? Wait a minute.
The amendment.
Amendment that Catherine did.
Roll call.
The amendment was to revisit the audits.
Roll call.
The prior audit by Dr. Saluja and implement his recommendation.
Oh, so they're going to implement it?
And there's an there's a request to roll call.
Before they said implement.
But that's fine, there just might be some people might dip.
So it's going to be implement or consider?
Fire the dip people. Implement.
Yeah, I mean,
If it's implement,
Hold on.
Okay, roll call.
we need to know what the wording
Wait
is.
a minute, be clear.
Implement.
It was, I wrote down implement.
Okay, that's even better.
Right on.
So they're coming back to...
Revisit, but what does revisit mean? May I ask just
I
point of
think it's bringing
information?
it, you get the motion. It's bringing it back to look at it and then implement.
Okay, but, and I only bring that up because you just heard implement. We wouldn't need to say revisit if you're gonna, because we're gonna have a little issue here now. There has been a little bit of time. I know some of those people are no longer here, and as we've just pointed, some of them aren't even alive. So, like, if we could get an adjective in there to put revisit.
Okay, wait, here's
and
the language.
consider implementation.
Here's the language. Bring back the prior audit by Dr. Saluja and implement recommendations. So that, the revisit's not there.
I never heard the word revisit.
Okay, roll call.
Something they don't know what the conditions are.
Denny?
No.
Jennifer? Bridget?
Is it implement?
It says implement.
I guess.
This is just a motion to add.
Darcy?
She said that she does.
Darcy?
Yes.
Kathy?
No.
Catherine?
Yes.
Rita?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Lana?
No.
DJ?
No, I don't know what kind of number this is.
No.
Kim?
No.
Keith?
No.
Motion denied.
So now we go to the main motion. Without objection, we'll have a roll call vote. The resolution is read.
Darcy?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Denise?
No.
Kathy?
No.
Keith?
Yes.
Lana?
No.
Rita? Kim?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Denny?
No.
Catherine?
No.
I will say no.
Motion denied.
I would like Catherine to bring her resolution back for the next meeting.
Okay.
Next Tuesday.
Send that out right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll revisit it before then.
Next.
Yeah, 2 days to gather the meetings.
If we can incorporate this one with that. Yeah, I agree. Okay, Education Head Start, HHS request to establish FY 2016 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the request to establish a FY 2016 budget for Head Start HHS with federal HHS monies of $661,193. State monies $29,716 and travel support of $123,980.
Motion. Second.
There is a motion. Catherine and Lana? Okay. Who's here to present this one? This is
What is it?
it's a budget mod. It's for Head Start. It has to jump ahead. We reviewed it today. Yeah. It
Hey,
has.
we got like 5 more resolutions, so after this, can we take a 5?
We have three items.
Committee stuff.
Yeah.
And there's other things.
Why don't we do the three that are in front of us of this quick budget mods?
I'd like to take a 5.
Well, we're in the middle of a motion right now.
I agree.
Okay, after this one.
Except Keith, thank you. We'll have to go to the rest.
Christine's coming.
I don't know about the rest of this.
Are you going to see it?
Yeah, I'll just get up now.
Hello, Christine McPherson, Executive Director of the Tribe, and I'm here representing Ann Suggett over the Head Start budget, and this request is to establish a new 2016 budget. They received additional dollars and of HHS dollars of $661,193, state monies of $29,716, and requesting tribal support of $123,980. 980. This is a slight increase over last year's 25% match. Part of this is that because they received additional dollars in their grant application. If you remember, a while back, Ann came before you and requested a grant to apply for a grant for a school bus. This was awarded, and also that school bus 25% match was waived. So it was a successful grant application for her. So the total budget for this Head Start is $814,889,000.
Okay.
So, and the reason why this is coming is, again, because they're in the off season of the budget, and on the continuing resolution, this would need to be established so they could spend these new grant dollars instead of functioning on the 2015 budget.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? We did workshop this twice, I think. Hearing none. This is a roll call.
Bridget?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Rita?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Catherine?
Yes.
Jennifer? Denise?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Darcy?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's 2015-231.
Is there a request to recess, or do you want to do two more and get them over with? Okay. Tribal Court Strategic Planning request.
Did we have a new business item that came out of today's discussions that we were going to talk about?
Yeah, but we still have two more resolutions.
Yeah. Okay.
We have two more that got added today.
Then we'll recess.
Yeah.
And then come back.
Yeah. Okay. Tribal Court Strategic Planning request to establish FY 2016 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the request to establish a FY 2016 budget for strategic planning with federal DOJ monies of $48,839.28. No effect on tribal support.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and support. This one, we reviewed it this morning. It's just a reconfiguration of the balance of the funds to a consultant rather than a staff position. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Motion carries. And then before our break, one more. Tribal Court, Drug Court Enhancement request to establish FY 2016 budget.
Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians hereby approves the request to establish a FY 2016 budget for drug court enhancement with federal DOJ monies of $137,952.54. No effect on tribal support.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion and support. Again, we reviewed this one today. This one I think is under, is it under the C-task that we have to actually create the budget so we can get started on it? I believe so. So are there any questions or comments? No tribal support? Roll call.
Darcy?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Keith?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
Rita?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Bridget?
Yes.
Denny?
Yes.
Catherine?
Nope.
Motion carries.
Okay, without objection, we will take a 5-minute recess and come back and finish our items. 5 minutes, we will adjourn if we're not back in 5 minutes.